The software is called AhaSlides, AHA Slides. And it's an interactive presentation software for your class, your meetings, and any events, any presentations that you're doing. And they make it easy to add polls, live charts, quizzes, engaging Q&A sessions into the presentation that the audience interacts with you directly as you're doing the presentation. So imagine this, right? This is my experience. The presenter stands in front of the stage and starts to pace. And he says, I'm going to break all the basic rules of public speaking. I'm going to apologize right up front. He says, I'm not a great presenter. In fact, I pace a lot. And he's walking up and down, like at quite a fast pace. He says, I'm sorry if it annoys anyone. It likely will, but I can't not do it. I stop thinking and I'm going to lose my place if I'm not moving. So he asks everyone to be patient with him. So, of course, I'm thinking, well, this might be a bit awkward, right? Anyway, it was one of the best presentations and most engaging presentations I've ever been to, and mostly because of the way he presented it. So after this apology, Thomas is his name, asked us to pull out our mobile phone and shoot the QR code that he's showing on the screen. And QR codes are all the thing now with having to check in places for COVID and so forth. Reading the menu at a restaurant, everything's contactless. So great, we all knew exactly what to do. So we captured the QR code and we're off. It was seamless. It was so easy. It showed Thomas's slides on my phone, as well as still being on the big screen at the front. So we were watching the presentation as normal, but also following along on our phone with all his slides. So we could follow the presentation. I was taking screenshots whenever I wanted or needed if I was interested in a certain slide. It was just brilliant. So the presentation's on the screen. We follow along on our phone. The presenter speaks to each slide for a couple of minutes. So we're not always looking down at our phones, and it's really interactive. And then he switches to the next slide, and we see a prompt on the screen that says, look at your phone. And then you have 10 seconds to answer a question that is on the screen, also on our phone, and it's interactive. So you get to answer the question, and if you don't get in 10 seconds, you miss out. And the whole thing is it's gamified, right? So you get points for not only answering the question correctly, but also answering the fastest. And then the person with the most points goes up the leaderboard, and in between each question, he's showing you where people are positioned on the leaderboard, who's got the most points. And as it turns out, my partner, who was sitting next to me, came along to the presentation, was second in between like question 3 and 4. So of course I knew he was kicking in his competitive spirit and he was intent on being the first. But all of that's so engaging, and it really just helps the presentation along, right? And you're really paying attention to what's happening. And it wasn't a quiz, like he wasn't giving us information and then quizzing us on what we'd heard. It was more like, how much do you know about this subject matter? What percentage of XYZ do you think is the case for this scenario, right? Because then he's getting data from his audience on how much they know about the subject. So it's probably an old style teaching method to keep a classroom engaged, but using technology. Of course, he gave away a gift, a prize for the top 3, which happened to be a book that he'd written last year. So that was another plus, right? Gets more of his publicity in front of his audience. He's also collecting the data from that quiz to better inform his future marketing. So now when he does the next presentation, or even for his social media, he knows what people don't know, right? The little known facts about the subject. And so now he can tap into providing information on that stuff, because remember the whole content marketing principles, right? Give information to people so that they learn more about what you do and you set yourself up as the expert in that area. So just had to share that with you.